extremely important to the norming stage so that members become one with their team and they're easily communicate their problems. Okay. Increased respect is another main characteristic of the norming stage. Respect is an essential part of human life. What we do when we respect someone is that we recognize their value. Members show respect by appreciating each contributions. It is important to be accepting of all individuality of each members. The difference among group members are natural abilities, limitations of each person can effectively do in a given time, and work habits and their personalities. As the norming stage progresses, we can use these traits to strengthen our team by taking in these differences. It is extremely important that each member stays involved and that everyone does their part, whether it be mediating conflict or anything else. To encourage participation, a group should ask everyone to submit an idea even if they're not open to it. Participation is so important that each member feels as though they have a voice or a decision in the decision-making process. Cohesion is the act of feeling or forming a united whole. Increased cohesion is knowing and accepting how you fit into achieving a common goal. When you have increased cohesion, you will have a better trust and more ideas will flow within your team. And you can also make more effective decisions. Each team should have its own strategy to ensure that its day-to-day activities help more the organization in the right direction. At each level, though, through a simple definition of strategy, can be determining how we are going to win the period ahead. Establishing a strategy clarifies the members' roles and clarifies the duties and said roles. If a team member can stick to problem-solving methods and policies that keep them on track, they are capable of amazing things. The most important characteristic of norming stage is the transition into the team into a comfortable work routine. Members start to find their place and work together, and the strength of the teamwork shines. It is important that members know their roles and the limitations of their roles. Members need to know how to best fill their role. At this stage, it is critical that everyone fulfills their roles completely so that the team can feel for how it expects to function. At this stage, you start to look for your key players and leaders, but leaders should not dictate. All teams have something to say, whether it's positive or negative. Everyone has something to improve on, or they need to know their good qualities, or that they're fulfilling their roles in the way that the group wants them to. Presenting this feedback open and honestly helps the members in the team know one another and confirmation within yourself. It's important to accept the feedback constructively. You need to value the information of others in your team and what they give you as their opinion. That you use it to improve on whatever is necessary in yourself to become a better asset to your team. Accepting feedback also demonstrates respect. Acceptance is not only accepting others and working together to collaborate on your project, but is accepting your role and knowing your limitations. You have to be accepting of your leaders and be comfortable with it. When everyone is comfortable with these things, you can begin to ask yourself, how are we doing this? What are we doing? And other things like that to succeed. As a group enters the norming stage from the storming stage, individuals must let go of their individual goals and adapt to the team goals and a unified vision so that they can achieve what is necessary. It emphasizes the strengths and the weaknesses of each member so clearly defined roles are necessary. The expected level of commitment for each member has found a balance between team needs and individual needs. While workloads may change, there is a need for set rules that need to be adhered to. Each member have demonstrated to follow these rules at this point, so it becomes a norm within these members. Confidence is exemplified in the open form of creative ideas. To foster the necessary environment for creative ideas, teams need to explore their capabilities, and some members are going to need to speak up more while others need to learn to listen. Each member is provided an idea that is proudly passed around for scrutiny. Also shows the comfort with each other. Reaching the norming stage is a huge benefit. Teams whose members are well in tune with each other are able to react quickly to changing variables. Sharing values is used as a compass for team members to follow and increases productivity by cutting out uncertainty and eliminates second guessing. In this stage, teams are aware of competition. Also in this stage, all members take to responsibility and have ambitions to work for the success of the team goals. Being successful in this norming stage, members need to tolerate the differences of each other, and they need to accept each other and know their roles. Make an effort to move on.
All right, the fourth stage of Tuckman's stages of group development is performing. Usually, a lot of teams don't make it to this stage because they usually have trouble at the storming stage. Teamwork. What is teamwork? I know a lot of people don't like to work in teams, but some of them do. But teamwork is an opportunity to get a chance to bond with other people and create something. And why do we do it? It's a framework that will increase ability to employees planning a problem, solving it, and all together doing it. Teamwork conflicts. There's also a lot of conflicts. Sometimes there's poor communication, a desire for power, disagreements, weak leadership, lack of respect for one another, lack of clear goals, and too much competition can stray teams from the common goal altogether. Believe it or not, teamwork is used in real-life work experiences. Whether you're brainstorming at meetings, group projects or presentations, when your boss assigns you with a group and you have to present a project, mentoring, helping to guide others to the right path in your job, and event planning. There's so many tasks that you have to do that you can't do it all by yourself. Benefits of teamwork in the workplace: it encourages creativity and learning, increase efficiencies, and it builds trust. In order to present, or in order to do a project, you have to rely on other people at their portion of the presentation. And also it's a learning experience. I know you guys went through a lot of interviews already, and there's one main question that's always asked. It's a team member question, whether they like to see whether or not you guys are a good team member or not. So they usually ask you a team question. So technology is developing over the years, and there's different ways of using teamwork. So there's a lot of people. If someone is out of the country and you need to work on a project together, there's usually things called Skype calls, web conferences that they use to communicate. Now performing. Performing is the ending, well not the end, it's the fourth stage. It's the part where it's mature people and it's able to solve problems. You work together, you're at the stage where you understand everyone, you're open-minded, you're not judgmental, you get to work together. Some characteristics is collaboration, which you work together to produce something or create something. Also informality is relaxed, friendly, and giving some facts to the team. Harmony is the quality of forming a pleasing and consistent whole, coming to an agreement altogether. Also, there's being able to work together as one and create new goals established. Disagreements are positively resolved since we understand each other and are open-minded to different ideas. Members look after each other and they have each other's backs. There's also conflicts, of course, at this stage, but not as much as the storming stage. And when there's disagreements, these are easily solved better than it would be at the storming stage. You can solve them by seeking to understand, putting yourself in their shoes, look for similarities, and be open-minded. There's also feelings of confidence at this stage, satisfaction in the team's progress, connecting by sharing insights, and aware of others, your own and others' strengths and weaknesses. The behaviors are you can prevent and solve problems, members taking on various roles and responsibilities. There's differences between members and are used to enhance the team's performance. You're able to identify their role and other teams' roles and responsibilities, and you can use their strengths as your weaknesses. Cohesive unit. So a cohesive team works well together and is able to pull themselves out of difficult situations and resolve differences of opinions. So basically at this, you're cohesive, you're getting work done as a team. Some examples of teamwork, of course, or performing as part of a sports team. You're going through a couple months of practicing like soccer, you practice all year round, and then you have games that you play to hopefully win a championship or etc. whatever. Also, group projects, you have 2 months in advance to practice a project, and then you have to present. My personal experience, I'm a waitress, so there's a kitchen area, and there's chefs that cook, and there's a lot of different tasks that they do, and they can't do it all by themselves because obviously food cooks different timings, so they need other people to help. So after, remember the Titans that we watched the movie, they showed a lot of performing. They know each other well enough that they could replace each other, and they know everyone's strengths and weaknesses, that they could replace one weakness for another person's strengths. Some quotes that I saw was, teamwork makes the dream work, but a vision becomes a nightmare when the leader has a big dream and a bad team. So basically, they have big dreams, but if they have a lazy, not so good team, it might reflect on how they perform, but that shouldn't let you stop from trying your best. Another quote is, alone we could do so little, together we could do so much. So Helen Keller is of course blind and deaf, but she learned that she can't do everything by herself, so she has to rely on other people to do things in life. So now, performing stage is basically the maturing stage, and it's everyone performing what they've learned.
All right, bear with me. So I'm going to present to you guys the last and final stage of the Tuckman model, adjourning, otherwise known as the mourning stage or the separation stage. I thought this picture really summed it up. So you wrap up activities of the group, provide a sense of closure to the members, and says goodbye or saying later, Steve. So Tuckman actually reviewed 55 articles of small group development and then came up with this model, the Tuckman model. So you have forming, storming, norming, performing, and last but not least, adjourning. So this really gets a good feel of how groups develop. It analyzes how they mature, how they develop relationships with other people on the team. And as you can see, everything is listed out here. And for me personally, the way I was reviewing Tuckman's model, it's really more of a cycle, because once you finish one task, you're going to move on to another task unless you decide to quit your job and you don't want to work anymore. So you basically keep going through the cycle of introducing yourself to people, facing conflicts, building trust. And adjourning, like I mentioned before, it's really about establishing the task at hand first, and then knowing that there's going to be a date of termination. So you're going to have to say goodbye at some point. And this is one of my favorite quotes by Henry Ford. I think it really captures teamwork overall. It says, coming together is the beginning, keeping together is the progress, and working together is the success. He obviously forgot to put adjourning in there because I would have added at the end and then adjourning. 20 seconds is longer than I thought. All right, so a team is a small number of members who've come together with a shared leadership, blah, 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 blah. They perform interdependent jobs, but they have a group accountability, whereas groups, it's 2 or more members. They have individual accountability and independent jobs. So they're really more focused on their self-needs, whereas a team, you need each individual person to work together so that the team can operate fully. And for all the visual learners, I put together a chart. You have teams, as you can see, they have some unifying relationship. Groups don't really have that. They're just associated by this particular activity or work. This is a model, this is a Ferrari F50, for anybody who doesn't know cars like me. I think this is the perfect way to describe a team. You have the engine, the brakes, they're all working together kind of to get the vehicle to move, to work. If your check engine light is on, you're going to go to the dealership because it jeopardizes the mobility of the vehicle. And this is a group of people at a bus station. So again, we have teams versus groups. These people, I mean, that girl with the blue hair could be going to school, the guy over there could be going to class, that person could be going to work. They have different agendas, individual goals. And this is another example of a group, Alcoholics Anonymous. This probably wasn't the best. example, but they don't need each other specifically to make the operation